Day 6. Resistance in Camps.
With how power works, like we saw the abuse of power, how it was legalized, and how people didn't think of what crime they are committing, how they are injecting pain into another human. They were not thinking of all that, but then they were thinking as if they are doing a job, as if they are signing papers. So that was banality of evil. And then we saw Joyce's how people enjoyed, how some people were able to enjoy the pain of the other. So we saw all this, right? And then we also saw four memoirs. I just gave you a very brief introduction of what they are. Today, I'll take a lot of examples from these memoirs, and then we will see how resistance and resilience worked inside the camp. So we saw what resistance yesterday and some of the areas where we could use resistance. And we also saw few theories. Two theories that I thought we could use for our presentation is everyday's form of resistance, as I told you earlier. Every single act will be accumulated and that will bring a change. That will bring a change in the end cost. That is the idea given by James Ford. And then the concept of spirituality is also very important. Since Jewish people are very, spiritual in nature, we will see how this also works inside the camp. And the resilience is again a very important area of study inside the Holocaust camp because all of these memoirs, at least what I have chosen for this workshop, will show you tremendous amount of resilience amidst the tragedy. So we'll see how all of this works. Okay, the first thing that we are going to discuss today is resistance inside the camps. The first uh, thing is documentation. You see, they don't want this horrible event to be, informed to their society. They don't want any history to be informed to the outside world, the Germans especially. The Nazis, they don't want this dark history to be told. Now, what happens here? They, in spite of no strict regulations, they never had papers. Even the prayer books was taken away from them, and sometimes the prayer books were given as toilet papers for the Jewish prisoners. So it was very difficult for them. Okay, now they smuggled, in spite of all that, they smuggled papers and pencils. They risked their lives and then they started writing everything that was happening inside the camp. Now, how could they smuggle papers and pencils? You see, all the camps are wired or electrically, wired. You have electric circuit everywhere. If somebody wants to, go out of this ghettos or this concentration camp, it is nearly impossible because if you go touch the wire, you will die because of the electric shock. So in that case, you can never escape. But then you can never have any jewelry because once you are inside the camp, they check your whole body and then only they send you. In certain cases, there are no records written where for some women they even had vaginal examination to check if they have some contraband goods, like if they have any jewelry or diamonds hid inside their vagina. So they had such strict, such strict um, checking in the Holocaust. Now, there are certain other cases, like, some people, like there is one lady in uh, your first memoir, I was a doctor in Auschwitz. Dr. Pearl talks about one particular lady who added some diamonds into her dressing, into the frills, and then she stitched it. So that people will not, when people look at the dress, people only will see that as a dress. So once the checkup is over, you are supposed to wear your dress and then you are supposed to go to the bathroom to bath. So before in that process, she removed all her jewels And then that's how she saved few diamonds. And like this, people must have smuggled certain things, and then they take it to the outside world. No, you have this barbed wire. You stand here, and there is this outside world. Few people, some Germans might be there, and you give them the diamond for few papers. They give, see, paper will cost you around 10 rupees or say even below that. And look at the price of diamond. And they were ready to give the diamond and get the papers. So that's how they smuggled papers and pencils. Not only this, in the upcoming slides, we will also see how they smuggled guitars and keyboards. Sometimes they are broken, but they are half working. However, they used all that. They used all of that for that. Uh, for to resist. Now we will see how this comes under resistance, and also we will see how this I'm calling this as resilience. Now they smuggled paper and they started writing. Now there are few people who write every day even, and there are few people in the upcoming slides. You will also see in art. You will see how they sketched what happened inside the camp. So everything happened, but in secret. There are also records where few artists, the Nazis found that they have drawn the horrible event of the Holocaust in their papers. So the papers were torn, and those artists they were immediately taken to the gas chambers. So you have incidents like that. The same happened to your documentation also. But the beauty is this. They had 11 tins, 11 milk cans. You see, milk cans, how big milk cans are. So 11 big milk cans had complete documentation of Holocaust by Jewish prisoners. They wrote all of that and then they hid all of that inside the mud, inside the ground. So it was all done. See, it cannot be done by one single person. That is why we always keep insisting unity is strength. Now, this tremendous amount of energy or amount of bravery, the act of bravery was not from a single person, but by a group. They all believed that it is very important to tell the world what happened to them. Therefore, they started recording, and all of that was hid under the ground. And then after the liberation, there were few alive. They came back. They told that they have hid so many cans inside, and then they took them out. And today you have few histories. See, these are the only history that we have now for Holocaust. So this is why I call this as resistance. See, I am asking you not to talk. And if you, as a student, you are not obeying, you keep talking, then I keep punishing, then you keep talking. Now, this is resistance. When I give you an order, you are supposed to obey. If you are not obeying, then you are resisting my orders. Now, the same is happening inside camp. Nazis, they never want you to write. But what happened with the Jewish prisoners? They almost every day they spent enough time in documenting everything. They used to sit under the toilets. They get into the toilets, and then there they have small 0 volt bulbs. Maybe there they sit and write, and then they hit it. And many lost their lives in that process. So that is documentation. Now, this one part is called resistance because I resist. In the same way, I can also call this as resilience. How can this be called resilience? Though there is this fear of being caught, though there is this no fear or being punished, though the environment is not good for you, you are always trying to do the best out of the meager things that you have. Okay, papers and pencils, only that you have, and with that you are supposed to write. And imagine I'm giving diamonds, and I won't be getting papers in a bulk. I only get papers like 4 or 5 papers. Because if I get in bulk, then I might be caught easily because it is very difficult to hide. So I get only 4 or 5 papers, and then I divide it very carefully to record everything. So though the complete scenario is against you, they did the best what they could do. So that is a part you can call that as resilience. The next one, there are some resistance movement actually happened. They had this gas chamber. Now you will see all of this. I'm giving example from your Five Chimneys by Olga Langer. If you have that slide, you can check that. Now, what happens in Five Chimneys? Um, Even Olga Langer herself, she was one participant in this resistance movement. So now you to bomb something, you want gunpowder, and gunpowder is again being smuggled. Now, who gave them these gunpowder? We are not sure. This must be, some good souls outside or somebody who wants to work against the Nazis government. Okay. Now you give them something and you get some gunpowder. And those gunpowder is not quite easy. You are supposed to, put that under your dress or under your innerwears, and then you are supposed to bring it without being identified by the Nazis. Because once they identify, not only you are caught, but the whole team will be caught somehow, and you will be put to death immediately. Now, so what happened? This Olga Lengel, she got this gunpowder. She was having it, and then a friend of hers somehow found that she's having this gunpowder, and she asked, "Are you mad? Are you stupid? How could you do such a event? Such a act? If people find it, you will be immediately put to death." She said, "I don't mind. I don't mind dying, but then I want to work against these Nazi people." Now, this is perfect example of resistance. Yeah, yeah. What else you can do? You can just kill me because you have already killed my son, my children, my parents, and I do not know where my husband is. I don't even know if he's alive. What else I have? I don't have anything. If you want to take my life, come on, take it. So that was the spirit they had, at least a few people in the group. Now, likewise, they smuggled gunpowders and they bombed the gas chamber itself. Now, how could they bomb a gas chamber? Because gas chamber, as I told you earlier, is where people are put to death or put to, half death, I would say, and they were taken from there to another place. Right now, for this particular work, for this mass killing, they used again Jews, and they are called super commandos. They were used only for this purpose. And imagine now I am a super commando and I am the one who responsible of killing all my Jews. Then I might keep a note of how many are being dead because I am reporting everything to the Nazis. So I might have the count. Therefore, they don't want this count. They don't want someone witness this. Therefore, all the super commandos will be killed for every month or every 2 months or every 6 months, these super commandos will be taken to the gas chambers and no other go. You cannot, raise your voice against it. But one good thing that they did is bombing a gas chamber. I told you yesterday there were five chimneys, five gas chambers, and one was bombed. After bombing, uh, there were around 32 or 31 super commandos working for one particular, which was bombed for that particular gas chamber. And all of those people were immediately killed. They were asked to kneel down, and in the neck, they were shot dead. So all the 32 was immediately put to death. So that was the punishment they got. That was the result. It was, though 32 lives was lost, still I would call that as the best resistance they had inside the hall of inside the concentration camp because they had such a spirit. Now imagine if you know you will be put to death. I don't think we will be doing it. We will be even, we will work double the amount. If they say you kill 1,000 Jews per day and your life will be, free if you kill 2,000, then we might be ready to kill 2,000 people per day. But now look at this mindset that these people had. They were okay sacrificing their own life, but they want to do something against the Nazis. And then escaping the camps. Now, every memoirs that you have in your study, they all talk about escaping the camp, but it was all utter failure. Nobody actually escaped the camps. I'll tell you why. It was again very interesting. Now look at the uniforms. How did they? What are the dress they are wearing? Even if it is not about the uniform, now look at the image of one Jewish person. They all just had only the skin and the bone, nothing else, and all shaved head. So even if they move out and they go into the forest, somehow these people are always found easily because they are also very, they don't have much energy to go faster, right? So these people are always found and they were taken back to their camp only to be punished in front of so many people. Say, for example, there is one girl who tried escaping. She'll be taken inside the camp and in front of everybody else, in front of all other Jewish prisoners, she will be humiliated to the core, and only then they will put her to death. Now, this visual uh, no, the visual idea of violence, the visual idea of injecting pain into this person will itself stand as a way to discipline you. Now, this is what Foucault calls. You punish someone, you show that punishment in front of everybody, the very scene, the very vision, the very sight of seeing someone being punished for some crime will discipline you. That way, almost everybody stopped trying escaping the camp. But then they were people who kept trying, right? So that also comes under resistance. Now, art. Now, music and drama, poetry, and sketch. See, sketches, as I told you, I don't remember as I studied anywhere people retrieved the paintings because most of them were easily found out because they already know some famous painters and I mean artists and they know somehow these people will be painting or they found out easily and they were killed. If you take the historical records, you will find how certain artists were killed, Jewish artists. And music and drama is a very interesting area. There is this memoir, Triumph of Hope. There, Ruth Elias, she also worked in the infirmary, but at the same time, she is also into music. She is capable of acting and all that. So now, earlier I told you, you remember they were staging a play because they want the outside world to understand that they were doing something good for the uh, Jewish people. So Nazis were actually acting, they were showcasing as if they were helping the Jewish people. So for that uh, enactment, they had time for retreat and all that, which includes music and drama. So some of the dramas that happened inside Holocaust was orchestrated by the Nazis itself because they want to show that to the other governments like America or Britishers to people like that who come here. They show that all this Jewish people are happy. They have fun inside ghettos. They were showing like that. Other than that, there are also cases like if you read Olga Lengel's story or if you read mm, I Was a Doctor in Auschwitz, there are stories of how people smuggled this broken instruments and they had everything inside their home. And, uh, they will have someone, they will post someone outside their home. If some Nazi soldiers come, then that person who was posted near the door should give them the signal that the Nazis are arriving. Therefore, all the music and all the songs will be stopped. And inside there, always they used to sing something very patriotic towards them, something very spiritual, something like national anthem of their country, something like that they used to sing and they used to be reviving their soul. Now, this is resistance because something they are doing something against the order. They used to say, I want to put you down. I want you to feel low in your spirits. And these Nazis, they are like no, they are resisting that. and they are full of spirits. Though they are being beaten to death, though they are sick, they are hungry always, they try being their best version inside the camp. So whatever is possible, they try that. Now poetry. You remember we were talking about this this memoir called Thanks to My Mother. Now, this, as I told you, you had mother and daughter. This daughter is good at writing poetry. And this mother, she had some jewelry with her, and she gave that jewelry and she got a notebook, a sketchbook, and a pencil for her. And this girl, she started writing. Her name is Soshna, mother name is Raja. She used to write poetry every day inside the camp. After the work is over, she used to write poetry and she used to read the poetry for the fellow roommates, and they used to listen to the poetry. They sometimes give correction. Some people might appreciate. So all of this revived their soul. Now this is resilience. Now look at this. I'm hungry, but then I write poetry. I write poetry in spite of being hungry, and that very act of writing poetry gives me energy, allows me to, go further, allows me to live another day. Now that is perfect resilience, and this is what I call as the ordinary is magic. Now, again, I'll come back how this ordinary as magic works. This is the idea of Anne Maston. We saw Anne Maston's idea yesterday. So we will see that again. So now, music and drama, poetry, and sketching the camps. All of this art form also you had inside the camp. And then camp doctor. See, um, I have a special interest or I respect all of these Jewish camp doctors because they are the main instrument in saving almost all the Jewish people. Or especially when it comes to women, I believe all these Jewish doctors are like God for these people. When they were coming inside the camp, they were in the ghettos. In the ghettos, they were with the family members. And you see, whenever you are frustrated, whenever you are, you know, you do not know what is happening, and you only have your family, you only have your husband to lean on, you only have your wife to lean on. What happens? At that point, you always have you seek intimacy. So the same happened inside the ghettos when they were as a family. They had their intimate relationships, and then they were taken to different camps, men to some camps and women to different camps. And here, when they come, almost many women they became pregnant. So all of these people are pregnant with Jewish people, Jewish children in their womb. Now, which is very much against the Nazis' ideology because Nazis don't want another Jew on earth. Now, these Jewish women pregnant with Jewish blood, they don't like it. And whenever they saw such pregnant women, they immediately took them to the gas chambers. And inside the cancer concentration camps, the infirmary, I mean the hospitals, they don't have much facilities. Even if some women want to abort their child, it is not possible because they don't have enough equipment. But what happened? I'm talking about Dr. Gisela Pearl here. I was a doctor in Auschwitz. Now, this is so beautiful. This is why I respect all of these people. You know what happened? Every night, Gisela Pearl will call all these pregnant ladies, say one or two, she will take to the restroom, to the toilet. And even there, this should happen only when all the Nazis have slept. If the Nazis find that you are roaming around, then you will be killed immediately. So now what happens after these Nazis have slept? She will take few pregnant women with her to the toilet, and there, with her chest, with her hands, it's again, of course, it's a painful act, but with her hands, she will terminate the pregnancies. She terminated all these pregnancies because she believed if these mothers are just young people, young and healthy people, then they might be allowed to live. I'll tell you another scenario. You might think what this lady is aborting so many people, but I'll give you another incident. there is one day, one fine day, Dr. Mengele, he came in. You remember Dr. Mengele from yesterday's class? Dr. Mengele, Joseph Mengele, the Nazi soldier, I mean Nazi doctor, a very, he is called the angel of death because he conducted all absurd experiments on Jewish bodies. So now this person comes in and she's asking Lengel to call all the pregnant ladies, giving a fake promise of reducing their work time and giving them extra bread. Now look at the offer; it is very attractive, right? All young pregnant women can have half the work and more food. So everybody, whoever was pregnant, they raise their hand telling that I'm pregnant. I want rest. So everybody raised their hand, and there were 92 pregnant ladies. That single day, 92 pregnant ladies were taken to the gas chamber. So this is why I told you yesterday. Someone asked when how this was happened when Jewish people were so rich and they had the authority because they had all the fake promises and they believed all the fake promises. And inside the camp, you have no other go. You are entirely under the mercies of the Nazis, so you have no other go. So this is what exactly happened. So one single day, 92 pregnant women were put to death. Therefore, Dr. Pearl thought, okay, it is fine to abort the child. And she aborted some in 2 months, some in 3 months, some in seventh month and eighth month. Whatever it is, she aborted. And that way she saved a lot of people in her life. This is resistance because you're acting against the Nazis and also resilience because you see, you can easily say, see, I don't have the equipments. I cannot do this. How can how can I kill another human? You might say. But at that point of time, she chose what is best and what could help another human, and she did that. So now that is how no you camp doctors save thousands of lives with life. You were giving fake promises, therefore I will also give you fake ideas. And the other day in the another scenario from Gisela Pearl I'm talking. What happened? There were a lot of people with the fever, and it was believed to be some contagious fever like pneumonia. So they had so many people, like the whole infirmary was filled with patients. And again, Dr. Mangale came and he asked, how many no, patients are with fever? Tell me. And she said, nobody. And he asked, give me the report. And she said she found everybody. She went to everybody and she wrote for someone as tooth pain, someone with finger was hurting, someone with stomach pain, someone with diarrhea. So she filled the file like this and she saved around, say, 100 people that day. So, like this, the doctors played a vital role, and no healthcare out of nothingness. Now, this is where I was talking to you about the ordinary as magic. See, all these people, they were very sophisticated in life. They had rich life, and uh, all of a sudden, they were into the camp, and they are not even allowed to bath every day. So, no proper bath. So, and then you are supposed to be under the sun. You don't have your sunscreen. You don't have your coconut oil. You don't have anything. But then your scorching sun, or then the winter all freezing winters. So this is what they had, and most of them they came with skin disease. Now this is again from Dr. Pearl. She didn't know what to do because you have skin disease. All of these people are having skin disease, but inside the camp she has nothing to give them. And one fine day, she said everybody. She just got into some a stool or something like that, and she started shouting. She started telling people, you know what? If you can use the jam provided in on your skin, then your skin will get back to the old form. She said, use your jam instead of using your jam on your bread. Use it on your skin, and then your wounds will go away. Everybody believed her because she's a doctor, because we all do that, right? Whatever doctor says, we blindly believe. The same happened inside the camp. And luckily or magically, it worked. They started applying this margarine or this jam on their skin, and all the wounds and all the rashes that they were facing, it went away. So that is what no Anne Maston says. You don't have anything, but still you have the power to be resilient. She says. Even the very small little acts can bring in the change. She says. And then relationships. This is again very interesting, and I would also say you will not find this happening much in the male camp, much with the men. I am not sure why men are incapable, or those Jewish men were incapable of such brotherhood, but it happened with the women prisoners. They had this sisterhood between them. You know, say for example, like we five, or let's say, or some five people are living together, and one falls sick. The other four will help her. The other four will take her to the roll call, and when they are calling out her name, they will say she is present, and they will be taking her to the workstation. They will give her very less work, and they will be doing double the amount of work. And when somebody falls sick, somebody will sacrifice their food and soup, and then the sick patient will have double portion of food to recover faster. So they had all this. And along with this, they also had, no, when I'm talking about strong bonds of friendship, they also had this way of decorating their houses. They call it koya, bunk or koya. They call it like that. You know what happened? They used to sweep and clean their house, and I mean the bunk, and if possible, from some dresses if they happen to get, or if by smuggling if they happen to get something beautiful, they hang it in their house. And they also try to clean their dresses every day. And for some, when their hair grows, they try to clean it, and then they made sure that they don't have any lice in their bodies. So they tried their best to be clean. And when it was boring, I think we have something called memory when that comes to the top. And they also had love life. Now, this is again quite interesting because um, see, friendship, okay, because you are living in the women camp, therefore friendship is possible. But there are evidence of love life happening inside the Holocaust. Now this happens because if you go back to Dr. Pearl, she calls this place a latrine as love nest. Latrine is toilets where no you go and you use toilet, but that is the only place where you can meet men as well. That was called love nest because at that point, what happened? They have some kind of sexual relationship inside the lateral. Now imagine the men. Men were mostly taken to the road building or railroad slaying or to some other industrial places. They were taken every day and they come back. So they had the access to get apples or potatoes, things like that. Now they come with an apple. You see, they were so they don't have anything for them, and they don't even know they are man anymore. And only a woman can prove them. Only a woman can give them the power of feeling a man again. So when they have the chances of getting an apple or something like that, they get into this latrine. They come with an apple and they choose their woman. If someone is okay, if someone is ready to exchange sex for this one apple, then she gives sex and she gets the apple and she goes. Now this act is if happening today, then you can no give a very you can give any meaning that you want. But the same scenario happened in a place where There were no food at all. You cannot judge these people because you do not know whether why she is taking the apple, because that apple might help her to live another day, another week. We do not know because the hunger was like that. So sex became a very easy thing at that point of time. But though people were doing it, uh, Gisela Pearl, maybe my words are not as good as Dr. Gisela Pearl, but she says, I saw this and I don't want this happening. How women, of such characters could fall down to this position of exchanging sex for food. I want this to be stopped immediately. But then I thought, she says, but then I thought, okay, if this is helping them to live another day, then why not? And then there are also people, see, this is why I said they talk about sisterhood is, is brimming high inside women camp. The another reason, again, if you take Ruth Elias, she talks about one girl. I don't remember her name now. This girl is a beautiful girl and she has sex with men almost every day regularly and she comes with food. And everybody disliked her because, see, she's young. Why can't she work? Why the food that is being given to all of us is not okay for this girl? They had such questions in their mind. And only in later part they understood that she was having sex and bringing food, but not for her, but for a sick lady who was very young, say around 16 or less than 16. So that young girl, she was bringing food. To save that girl from death, it so happened that this girl happened to sell her body. So inside the camp, the moral was always a question. If this is happening outside, maybe that can be judged. But inside the Holocaust, inside the concentration camps, it cannot be judged because that is the only source they had. Now, if somebody has another source of living and then they choose to do it, probably we can judge it. Now, there is no source. Either die or you have another chance of living. Some of the people chose a chance of living. That is all. So, Gisela Pearl herself says, then I stopped judging these people. Then I let them have their life that way. And she said, because of that, few people had no few diseases as well, and they all taken to the gas chambers. So the relationship was quite difficult inside the concentration camps. And you know what happened? There was also a brothel house. It was instrumented again by the Nazis, and you know whom they chose for these brothel house? Mostly young nuns from the prisoners. See, nuns, all the sisters, they are supposed to have they are supposed to live a life of the virgin because they dedicate themselves to God. And only those women are chosen for these brothels. And men who are capable of doing the extra work will be given a pass. They can take the pass and they can go to the brothel, and inside the brothel, you'll be given 10 minutes time. You can have sex and you can come. And those women who worked in brothel, they are supposed to have sex around say 20 to 30 people per day. So life was difficult for everybody. But then those people who were in the brothel were allowed to have their hair because they should look beautiful. They can have clean dress. Mostly they will only wear the dress of the nuns to insult the Jewish people. And they had proper food because only if you have proper food, you will have proper body which can attract men. So now why you should attract men? Because men should think of having sex. If men can think of having sex, then men should do the double the work. So it is always the profit for the Nazis. So instead of doing some work per day, these men were capable of doing what work can be done for 2 days within a day or within half day. They get the pass and then they come here. So you have different stories inside concentration camp. Now all of this can be called a resistance, a form of resistance against the Nazis, against the death itself. And then the past memories, when they get free time, they sit and they talk about their life. Sometimes they also cook imaginary foods from their memory. And they say, see, once we are liberated, you should come to my home. I'll cook you this. I'll prepare this meat. I'll prepare this food. They talk about food. Whenever they feel hungry, they talk about food. And they also talk about the young girls who are yet to marry. They talk about their marriages and their feast. And they say, you should come for my wedding. I'll come for your wedding. So they talk about their future or they talk about their past, like how they were leading their life. They talk about their love life, and all of this gave them the power. They gave them the strength to move forward. Now, this is resilience. Now, see, talking about a food visit is ordinary, but that is giving them the energy, then that becomes extraordinary. So the ordinary becomes the magic. And then they also, they also acted. Actually, they used to act as if they are cooking and they are having food. They did all this. Almost all the memoirs that you have in the study will talk about that. And there are also, we'll go on to this for a second. Yeah. Here, in Triumph of Hope, you have Ruth Elias. She was taken to a bakery for work, and when she was working there, since you saw the pictures, right? How they were very lean, so they will not find if you have a bread packet inside you. So she used to steal loaf of bread, one or two. She used to steal. She used to bring that to the camp, and she will share that with her friends. Now, this is how they helped each other to live. They survived the Holocaust because they had someone to help them. So it was not possible. It wasn't possible for the men because no, they never had such women, or they never had such sisterhood or such loving relationship one another. There are also evidence. Elie Wiesel says that. I think the father was dead or the son was dead. I don't remember. But you have a father and a son, and somebody was dead, and the father, I think the son was dead, and the father was preying on his own son's body. So the hunger was like that, and nobody was okay with brotherhood and giving up inside the men camp. But you might have such stories as well. But as far as I read, I don't find such stories. And it is also believed that more women survived only because of the sisterhood, because they always stood for one another. So that is all about uh, Holocaust, your resistance, and your resilience. So though see, and it cannot be stopped here. What happened after the liberation is also important. After the liberation, we might think of having a peaceful life. But what happened with these prisoners, with these people? They started writing everything. And if you read all of these people, especially Olga Lengel, she keeps insisting, at least for 4 to 5 times in the text, she says, I will remember all of this. I want to remember all of this because I want to write all of this and I will tell the world what these Nazis were doing to us. So they had this mindset of writing, noting down everything, memorizing everything so that they can let the world know about Holocaust. So it was not just letting the world know. Most of these people became activists, social activists, not only against Holocaust but for human rights. So today you have a lot of museums and lot of educational institutions which even funds your PhD and your postdoc. So you have all of this because they were very resilient in nature, and only after this they started building Israel again. These people were taken into Israel, and they had their own problems with Israel, the land of Israel, right from the biblical times. Surviving Holocaust, they had their issues. They were treated as the outcast in Israel. That becomes another history, and that becomes another story. But they were strong. They built their nation. They did everything, and today, from nothingness, you see the power which they have reached. So that is resilience. I believe I have done justice to the title given to me. If you have any questions, you can shoot up.
Yes, ma'am. Like today's discussion on the Nazis regime's deceit, cruelty, and indifference was profoundly disturbing, man. Oh, the story you narrated forced us to confront and contemplate the darker aspects of human nature. So now we have reached to the Q&A session. Please feel free to either post your questions in the chat box or unmute to ask directly. If there are no questions at the moment, I will assume that either everything was clear or that you may take some time to reflect on today's session. If any questions come up later, feel free to reach out in the WhatsApp group. Thank you, ma'am, for further deepening our understanding of the scars left by the Holocaust and for the remarkable discussion on resilience in this concluding session. Today, you highlighted the resilience and resistance of Jewish individuals during the Holocaust, as documented in selected memoirs. Despite severe punishments and strict regulations, many Jews risked their lives to document the horrors they endured. In some instances, they undertook bold acts of resistance, such as you have mentioned, bombing a gas chamber or planning escapes from the camps. This documentation, carried out despite prohibitions, was a testament to their unending spirit and desire to preserve their truth for future generations. It reminds us how words can offer refuge and strength even when everything else is lost. Like when they were writing poetry, literature, that tells us how literature has healing effect. Okay, um, before we conclude, we have uh, okay, just a minute. Yes, will Uh, there's one question that the student has posted me. He in the WhatsApp group, Ellie ma'am, kindly provide the list of the literature that is dealing with this past literature. Okay, ma'am. Uh, if it is possible today, tomorrow, whenever the group is open, a few quick announcements before we conclude. The feedback link will be shared tomorrow. We kindly request that some of you provide a brief oral feedback of about 2 minutes. Please take some time to prepare your thoughts today, as we would love to hear your perspectives tomorrow. And the certificates will be ready within a week, and we will share them with you soon. Now, my sincere thanks and gratitude to everyone, our resource person, faculty members, participants, and students. Everyone, thank you. But before we leave, it's a humble request to everyone, kindly turn on your videos so that I could have a group photo. Everyone, please turn on your videos. So thank you once again to all of you.